Hey everyone, I just wanted to jump up here really quick and do a really quick video. I wanted to hit on dealing with trauma in your body. For the past few years, I've wanted to cry, like really cry, and I couldn't. And I couldn't figure out why. Why couldn't I cry? Like, these were things that were so serious to the point of where I needed to cry and I couldn't. It would not release, it would not let go. And it was so bad to the point of I would feel pressure right in here. So every time I wanted to cry, I would feel it in my sinuses so bad to the point of where I would stop myself from crying so I wouldn't feel it. And I realized that trauma builds like that to the point of where your body will force yourself to not do something you know you need to do to release it. Not necessarily that your body wants to hold on to the trauma, but the trauma holds on to your body. It's something built into your brain that your brain says, no, it's not time to release that yet. It's not time to let that go yet. Now, this is just my experience. This doesn't speak for everybody else. This is just mine. This is a fight and an argument I've been having with myself for some time. I've needed for the past few years to just release and let go, and I couldn't. Last week, I actually cried. Not even last week, week before last, I actually cried for the first time in almost 4 years. My body finally released that trauma and allowed me to cry. It didn't hurt. It didn't feel like I needed to try to force past it. It just flowed freely. And that let me know that there are points that we have to get to where we actually allow not just coping, but actual healing in our bodies. Because our bodies are holding on to things they're not supposed to hold on to. We're in touch with things we're not supposed to be in touch with. Our minds and our hearts are holding on to strings that need to be cut, and we have not yet figured out how to cut them. There are spiritual ties that are holding on to us. Do you realize when you are emotionally tied to somebody who does not know how to regulate their emotions, it affects how you regulate your own? It greatly affects your emotional intelligence. You're holding on. Your spiritual tie to them, because it's a spiritual tie to their emotions. Have you ever noticed how when you're with someone who gets angry all the time, you find that it's easier for you to get angry, but you've never been that kind of person? That person can frustrate you faster than anything or anybody else. That's a tie. That's an emotional tie. That's a spiritual soul tie to that person. And no, it does not require you to have had a sexual relationship with that person. A soul tie can happen outside of that because you become emotionally involved with that person, if you become mentally involved with that person, if you become spiritually involved with that person without being physically intimate. That release allowed me to see that I have allowed God to destroy completely that spiritual tie. Whatever remnants were left, they have healed now. I know people talk about coping, but coping means that you're learning to deal with it. Healing means that you've completely allowed it to change. Coping is just dealing. Healing is a change. When you have a cut that's open and you allow it to heal, it changes how the cut looks. The composition of the cut changes. Sometimes there's a scar, other times there isn't. But it changes that cut. But if you cope with the cut, all you're doing is you're bandaging it, you're putting ointment on it, you're dealing with the cut, but you never allowed it to truly heal. You've never allowed it to truly be dealt with. When are we going to get to the point of where we want to truly deal with the trauma? And that doesn't mean you have to go face the person who caused the trauma either. Because a lot of people want to do, well, I need closure. No, you do not. No, you do not. No, you do not. Because the moment that you approach that person who caused the trauma, 90% of the time, that person is just going to cause another trauma. In the other 10%, yes, there will be that level of, I'm accountable for what I did. I'm responsible for what I did. Please forgive me for what I did. And you can move forward. But nowadays, a majority of the time, that person is not going to take accountability for what they did to you. They're not going to take accountability for the trauma that they've caused you. And I'm not talking about people who are dead and gone, who will never take accountability physically here on earth. They have to take accountability before God. That's just the only place that's going to happen. I'm talking about the ones right here on earth, right here, right now, that all they have to do is pick up the phone and call you if your number is still the same, and they will not. They will not. They will not take that level of accountability or responsibility. You have to take responsibility for your own part and say, you hurt me, you caused this trauma. It's all right. It's easy to hold on to what somebody did to you. It's easy to hold on to unforgiveness. It's hard to forgive. But holding on to unforgiveness is just coping. Forgiveness is healing. When I forgave, that started the process of healing. And I didn't have to just forgive one person. I've had to forgive several people that hurt me worse than anything in this world. And I've accepted hurt from people who are not related to me to avoid facing the hurt from people that were related to me. But that's something for another day that I'll go into. But at some point, when are you going to stop coping and you're actually going to allow that wound to heal? I believe in Jesus, so I know God can heal. But if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe that God exists, find a therapist, find a psychologist, find a way to not just cope, but let it heal. You have people who are affecting your life. They don't even care that they're affecting it. They've gone on, but you haven't. And every time you don't forgive, you're still holding on to it. It's still a leech in your life. Because that's all unforgiveness is. It's a leech that's holding on to you. When are you going to be ready to pull that leech off? And said, you don't get to drain my peace anymore. You don't get to drain my joy anymore. You don't get to drain me anymore. Because that's all that leech is doing, is draining you. Give them back their leech. Give them back the tentacles that are taking away from your life. You deserve better than that. You deserve so much better than that. Heal. From the inside out, let that thing heal. Release that trauma. I bet your heart rate will change. Bet your blood pressure will go down. You'll have less headaches, less migraines. Your jaw won't be so tight. Yeah, you hold on to trauma. Your body reacts to that. Your sinuses will be clearer. Your mouth won't be so dry so often. It won't feel like you're clenched up all the time, like your body is always tight. You won't feel it in your neck and your back so much, in your muscles. Just release the trauma. Just release it. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.